Hello, 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 hello. It's working. I hope. Hi. It's gonna be such a hassle because I'm streaming on my laptop right now, and usually when I stream on my laptop, the only thing I use my laptop for. There we go. Okay, it's working. I can see a live display. Usually when I stream on my laptop, yikes. I'm streaming using my capture card, and you see my capture card, I only use that to obviously capture my console games, and it's been a very long time since I've streamed using my laptop and streamed the screen, so I'm sure everything will be fine, but I'm just double checking. But hi, I'm here today not to draw anything specific like I have other times in live streaming where I'm drawing. I'm just here today to talk about stuff that I've been thinking of recently. So, recently I have been, what am I going to draw? I haven't actually think this through. I guess I'll just draw Overwatch characters from memory. Because I was drawing Smash Brothers characters from memories earlier this morning, and that was a lot of fun. That was so much fun, actually. So yeah, I'll do that. Anyway, so if you can just guess who I'm drawing. I'm not going to say it out loud, because I like these characters. I love the character designs from Overwatch. Anyway, so I was thinking just before, I was like, man, I should start streaming, because there's some stuff that I want to talk about. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but I wanted to talk about how I got into drawing, because there is a big story behind it, and there's a story that leads into a lot of things, and I feel like there's a lot of things that in my life that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for drawing, and there's a lot of people I wouldn't have met if it wasn't for drawing. But drawing, when I got into drawing, I shouldn't really be doing the hair right now, should I? It was a very long time ago. This canvas is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, for some reason. I don't have a transform quick bind because my keyboard's not connected, because I'm using a laptop right now, and the keyboard folds over, so it's just the screen, and that's what's happening right now. So the keyboard is on the underside, and I am leaning on the screen so I can draw with my stylus. Also, I can't see the chat. I should probably clarify this now. I should probably put that in the title. I can't see the chat. It's very inconvenient. I could check it right now, but then y'all would be able to see it. I was also planning to put music on, but just in case, I don't want this to be taken down for any reason, because I'm going to be talking about stuff that I kind of want people to hear. And literally all it is how I got into drawing. So, anyway, I'm going to stop getting off topic, even though I'm probably still going to do it a lot during this video, this stream, because I tend to do that. But I've been drawing since I was a little toddler. It's always been a passion of mine. It's just, when I was a very small kid, it was just something that was embedded into my brain. I don't know why. Every single time someone had, like, anytime someone brought up drawing or creativity in any way, I was enthralled by it. I was floored by just the thought of putting a pen to a paper and, letting your imagination run wild, as they say. Because I felt like I had a lot in my brain to share to people, and I just always loved it. There was this one thing that we did in my pre-primary school. I still remember this. So there was a little area for the pre-primaries, because obviously there was this primary school I went to, which is what we call elementary school in Australia, I think. I don't know. What do you call it in America? I don't know. But anyway, so there's this pre-primary area that we would all go in, and then you could choose an activity to do. What am I doing here? Okay, I should just do it. Okay. Anyway, you can choose an activity of many activities to do. I forgot what all of them were. The primary one was drawing, and I would always choose that because I was really in love with it. And the one thing I'd always draw every single time was just a house. A very simple house, but I loved it. Every time I drew that exact same house, every time, I loved it, man. It was so much fun because like, yeah, I became a pro at doing that house. It looked a lot like this. The windows were always like that, and then it was like that. Anyway, yeah. So while I was growing up, I would draw a lot of things. I would draw. Main things would just be things that I'm interested in at the time, as everyone usually would do. So for a really long part of my life, well, all the way until this day, I've been a big fan of Star Wars. I remember drawing the B2 battle droid when we lived in Rockingham, and I was so proud of that drawing because the B2 battle droids, they looked really cool in my opinion. Their design, I always had specific designs in my head of what things would look like what the specific design that I had in my head, because I always wanted to. Sorry about that. Is my phone of Raven messaging me. That's interesting. Oh no, I opened it and I was going to see that I've read it. Never mind, I'm not going to reply to that. I was going to, but I'm streaming. Anyway, yeah, I had a lot of things going on in my head while I was a wee little child. And I was very eager to express it, but since I was so fucking awkward, especially when I was in high school and primary school, and basically my whole life I've been one awkward boy, being able to express myself through drawing was really something else. That was another thing. Not only was I just drawn into the fact of drawing your mind just because, I was also enthralled by it due to the fact that I could express myself in words other than talking, as sad as that sounds. But like, there was always a spark inside of me where I really wanted to express my, everything that I was thinking about and everything, but I never knew how to. So whenever there was something that would, that would scream, the unique sort of style that I was kind of looking for, I was really drawn to it. And there was only a couple of things that ever really, lured me into that. Because, certain character designs and stuff that I've seen throughout the years are really good and really cool. I'll get to that later. So, anyway, growing up, I used to play a lot of online games. That was another thing as well. So one of the main things I would draw, again, is just everything that I was doing at the time. So I would draw people from Star Wars. I'd draw characters from TV shows. I remember when I was a kid, we were forced to read a lot of books from the library. So I would draw. I remember drawing a tiny comic strip of in the style of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid style, and it was very, very crude, very rough, and very ugly because I was trying to copy a style that someone had done, another artist had done, and they were an official artist, someone who has been doing it for years. Trying to copy that style definitely didn't look that great, but I tried it. I tried my best. I showed my mum. She was very proud. I never told her that I was copying someone else's style, but she could probably tell by the way that it was nothing like they did all their lines purposely, and I was trying to copy that, and as you can imagine, it wouldn't look very, aesthetic as the way that they were trying to do it. So that was very interesting. God, I gotta make this bigger, or I gotta make the drawing smaller. I always think that this is paint, and I don't have to press transform. Jesus Christ, there we go. Select, transform. Anyway, so a big thing in my life that I would draw as well was video game characters as well, because there was a time where I got into the game Team Fortress 2, and I was, again, the main reason why I got into anything relating to either if it was a show, a movie, or a game, the number one reason is the art style for it. And Team Fortress 2, the reason why I got so invested in that game, I got so invested in that game because of how fun the game was. The reason why I got into the game at all was because of how much of a charm the art style was for it. Because the art style for Team Fortress 2, at the time, I hadn't seen anything like it before. Because the art style that I was used to when I was growing up, I never really took any art classes. The only rare chance I did take art classes was during it was when I was in Rockingham, and I remember during that art class, the only thing I remember drawing was a bunny rabbit. And every other time we just did nothing. And I was so disappointed with that, because especially in high school, I never really got the chance to take an art class. And I did do art in Forestfield Primary as well. But the only thing I remember doing in that was making clay sculptures, which was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't really sketching or anything like that. But anyway, yeah, so this is very, very rough. I'm not even doing her face. But yeah, so the Team Fortress 2 style of animation and the models and everything that they looked like, it really drew me in, and I loved the cartoon. It was like a cross between cartoon. What the hell? I just got a receipt from JB Hi-Fi. Oh, it was Reese. That's why. I should probably message him back. Well, thanks. I asked him to pre-order something for me because he works at JB Hi-Fi, and apparently he did it, and it's my receipt for it. Cool. Anyway, what was I talking about? Team Fortress 2 art style? Something about that. Yeah, it was a mixture between cartoony and also realistic, and the fact that they did something like that, because you gotta realize, I'll try it right now. The art style was like the proportions were all realistic, and I was really into that because I felt like drawing things cartoony and drawing things chibi, it was really fun doing chibi stuff, because the reason why is because it was really easy to draw. But when things were like lanky and when things were like humanoid and like realistic looking, like not too realistic, not to the point where like it took hours to draw a single face, but realistic where everything looked tall and everything looked muscular, that was just like, it felt like it was challenging. It was way more challenging than just doing like cartoony style. So I was really into that. And then like at the same time, they also had the big thing about the Team Fortress 2 characters is that they had really big hands, especially like the engineer, all of them. If you look at any of the character designs for Team Fortress 2, they like the side profile. I remember seeing the side profile for the scout, and that was the thing that instantly it taught me how legs work. Because the one thing you'll instantly learn if you ever try doing art is that legs will look kind of like that, and then so this is like the thigh area, and then this is the lower leg, and this is exactly what you need to remember when drawing legs. And Team Fortress 2 is what, so obviously, like I said, I would draw things that I was into at the time, and so I constantly would draw those characters, and then Overwatch then became a big thing, and then I love Overwatch because Team Fortress 2 was a great art style, and it did get me into art a lot, but Overwatch was basically that, but a lot better, and that's just a lot of controversy in that, because a lot of people who played Team Fortress 2 hated Overwatch because of the whole, like, it was taking over and everything, but that's a different story. I was really into Overwatch as well, as you can see here, because of the design of all the characters was exquisite. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was like Team Fortress 2, but 100 times better, because the colors and the shapes and the silhouettes of all the characters were so masterfully created. It was the exact same thing I was looking for, and it was like, It was all so unique, and it's so beautiful. The fact that they've got basically every single color of the rainbow into one game, like, it's so weird saying that, but all the characters have their own. They have their own story and everything. Like, I will always remember how to draw Genji because I drew Genji so many times. His mask was something like that. I don't know. And then he had like this huge like fin on the top of his head. And whenever I showed my sister a picture of Genji, I remember once I showed it to her and she was like, "That's a Power Ranger." And I was like, "Yeah, Genji's basically a Power Ranger." But yeah, I remember showing my family all these pictures of Genji that I drew, because his character design is phenomenal. I love all the designers from Overwatch. They're so freaking cool. And yeah, so I drew those a lot. I remember doing those in high school. By the way, I never stopped drawing. I loved drawing so much. When I got, like, I would always try and improve on it. The only bad thing that I had about drawing was I would never really want to show my friends unless I was 100% certain. But I guess that's natural. Like, I was 100% happy with the way that the drawings looked. I wouldn't show them any of the bad ones. There was 100 things in my book. Like, you could ask any of my teachers, especially my primary school teacher. She knew exactly that I loved to draw. And all of my workbooks, literally every single one I can go through, for if it's from primary school, if it's from pre-primary school, if it's from high school, especially high school, it'd be nothing but just drawings and drawings and drawings of random crap. For a long time I was into, so a lot of the time I really wanted to perfect the art style of comic book characters, because those are the most, like, it's the most recognizable, I feel like. And if you can do something, if you can recreate something that's recognizable, then I feel like that's how you impress people as an artist. So I wanted to perfect that, but at the same time as well, superhero, the comic book style was all, it was really, really difficult to get down. It was really difficult to nail. That's again why I wanted to keep trying to do it, keep trying to do anatomy. Drawing with Jazza is one of the best inspirations I ever had. It's a YouTube channel of an Australian man drawing. His name is Josiah Brooks, but people would call him Jazza, and I think that's what the nickname that he got was. What am I doing with Genji here? I don't know. This is the great thing about drawing, is that you don't know. You just do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want. I feel like I should make a new canvas or something, because this isn't really going anywhere. I can make a new one. File, new. I'll make the length bigger, I think. I'll make it, yeah. Backspace. Can I make it 8,000? And then can I make this? Fucking, why did you do that? 8,000. There we go. And press OK. There we go. This is a much bigger canvas. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. Where's the zoom button? I'm sure there is one. I think it's view, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And how big is my pen? It's fine. Jesus Christ. It's actually, this is a very big size. So I guess I did make it good. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Great, perfect. So now if I ever want to make a new drawing, I can just go to a different part of the page. Anyway, so yeah, Overwatch was great. It really got me into a lot of the things that I did. But anyway, so for a very long time, I did not know what anime was. Well, I knew of it. I just didn't like it. Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I had never really gotten into it, and I didn't really see the appeal for it. But I was I was very bold to assume that because I had never watched any of it before. But I don't know why I was put off by it. But I was never fully against it. I just never gave it a chance. So I never really got into that because I thought it was like too big of a genre, and I thought it was like it would take me too long to get into, and it does take a long time to get into, and it does take it's a very acquired taste, I feel like. But I remember the very first anime I ever watched. I will never forget this. It was A Silent Voice. It was not the first anime. The first anime I ever watched was probably Spirited Away or Totoro or something like that. But that was when I was a very hardcore fan. Because like again, I'll mention those, and like literally everyone's seen those movies. First anime I ever willingly watched by myself was A Silent Voice, because for some reason, somehow, there is a YouTube channel that is on YouTube, obviously, yes, and they will upload the full movie of A Silent Voice, the English dub, sometimes the English sub, but I watched the dubbed version because it was a lot easier on my very new to anime brain, and they had uploaded it, the entire thing, and somehow didn't get taken down. Well, it does eventually get taken down, but this is one guy on YouTube. I don't know if there's like a lot of accounts or something, but they will always upload it, and it's definitely not good for the creators of A Silent Voice. It's very illegal, but I saw my opportunity. It was literally in my recommendation feed. It was like full Silent Voice movie. So as much as I do not condone you do this, that is, I must confess, the first time I watched A Silent Voice, and it was very good. It was so good, and I will never forget that one time I was laying down in my bed watching YouTube, and I just decided, hey, I always knew anime was a thing, may as well give it a shot. So I did. I watched the whole movie, and it's very good. If you haven't seen A Silent Voice, it's one of the better ones you'll see. I don't know if it's on Netflix. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think it is. But I got it on DVD now. And I got a lot of other ones on DVD because you can get them at JB Hi-Fi for cheap as chips. What am I doing here? Should his arms be... No, I'll make him like... Anyway, so that sparked a new kind of... like... a new kind of... draw towards the anime style. I was kind of into the way that it looked and the way that anime came out. I was kind of entranced by the culture of Japan and how they interpreted, and how it's all interpreted by Japanese people, and how you get to see there, especially in that movie, you get to see how their like schooling and everything is not that much different from how mine was, at least. The classroom looked a lot different, and they didn't have to wear uniforms in that movie as well, so that was kind of strange to me. But it still kind of felt the same, the childhood sort of aspect. So I don't know why that wasn't so surprising to me, but I don't know why that was so surprising to me, but I guess in hindsight it shouldn't really be, because I don't know. I mean, it's Japan. It's a completely different place from Australia. Anyway, so yeah, that sparked a thing for me. I did watch a couple more animes after that. A big one was No Game No Life, which is actually interesting because there's a little tidbit on that later. The reason why I got into No Game No Life was because there was a small group of friends that I had, which I met through VR chat. They are this group has been dispatched since. It was a very small group of like 4 or 3 people. It was, I don't know if I want to say that. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter because no one will know who they are. If they do know who they are and they happen to be watching this, then they'll be like, oh, that's me. So their names were Kibbles, Elminus, and 72_horses. They were very good friends of mine, and I just have spoken to them. Not that. Not very often, but like, here and there, I've caught up with them. Anyway, so one of those people, they introduced me to a channel called Gigok, and he had a series called Anime in Minutes, and that series was really, really funny. and because of that series, it's what got me into No Game No Life. And No Game No Life is is one of those anime. It didn't really completely get me sold on it. It was really, really good, and it still is really, really good. The art style was amazing, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for in, art style, the style that I was kind of looking for. Because, I was looking for something, I had my own style in mind, but I wasn't at that point of art where I could completely, express it through drawing, because my art skills are not completely great, especially at that time. They weren't the best, but I wanted to find something that would if I saw it, I'd be like, holy crap, this is a masterpiece, and I love it, and it's exactly what I've been thinking about doing this entire time. And these people, they know exactly, they feel exactly what I feel like and all that stuff. But anyway, and I did eventually find that place, but I will, or that thing, but I will talk about that later. Anyway, so anime, No Game No Life, that was great. I drew a lot of characters from that. I drew Sora and Shiro. That was one of the first things I ever drew. I did draw that looking at a reference picture, and that's probably one of the first. I think that's the first picture on my Instagram that I ever uploaded. Was Shiro from No Game No Life, and that was because I was really into that anime when I first saw it. Because it's really good, by the way. If you haven't seen No Game No Life, it is on Netflix. I know for a fact that is on Netflix, and you should watch it because it's really good anime. But everything about it, from the gambling and everything, it was just, and especially the art style. I was trying to perfect my anime art style, because I really was, it's kind of again, it's a cross between Simpler and Humanoid, which was why I like Team Fortress 2 so much. This isn't supposed to be anyone specific, by the way. I guess I should draw specific people. The fact that I was drawing Mercy before, I guess I'll draw another Overwatch character. Yeah. So anyway, where was I? I think after that, so for a long time, I got into Smash Brothers. And Smash Brothers was pretty cool. I had never really owned a Smash Brothers game. I really liked it because there was a teacher at our school who let us play Smash Bros in his art class. And I never, I never got the chance to do an art class at high school as much as I wanted to. I think I was too late to enroll for the different classes that I wanted to do. It was too late to get into them, so I was just put into one automatically, which was just a lot of woodwork classes because no one wanted to do those, so they put me into it because they didn't specify which class I wanted to be in, which kind of sucked. But so the reason why I got into Smash Brothers was because of that one art teacher who would let us play Smash during recess and lunch, which was a lot of fun. Me and Lucas, and I would smash everyone, and I got really, really good at it. I got really into Smash Brothers, and I was really enthralled by the characters and everything. And then one day, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but when I got into Overwatch as well, that was how I met Billy, and that was again how I met a lot of my friends that I know online to this day, was because of Overwatch and because of Billy Sannon. So I want to say thanks to Billy for that, and thanks to Overwatch, and I would have never gotten been pulled into Overwatch if it wasn't for Team Fortress 2, which was I would have never gotten into that if it wasn't for the art style from it. And going all the way to the very top, the only reason why I ever found out what Team Fortress 2 was, I probably would have found out if it wasn't for this, but I can remember what Team Fortress 2 basically is what started my passion for a lot of things, basically, because I really liked that game. And that's how I spent a lot of my hours as a primary schooler and as a high schooler. But I will all the credit of Team Fortress, me getting into Team Fortress 2 goes to a man called Jake Dalziel which was one of my brother's friends. I guess I shouldn't have said his full name, but that's him. I don't know I don't know what he's doing now. I haven't heard from him in years. But he's I don't think he's friends with my brother anymore. I don't think they talk. It's a bit awkward, but because of him, I remember going to his house one day with my brother, because we didn't live that very far away from him, and I saw him on his computer. He was playing Team Fortress 2, and I was immediately entranced by the game, simply again because of the way that the style of everything looked. And I really liked it. That's how I got into Team Fortress 2, and that's how I got into Overwatch. That is how I got into everyone else. Sounds very wrong, but yeah. So thank you, Jake. But anyway, so after Overwatch, I'm still into Overwatch to this day, but yeah, Smash Brothers. There was this one fateful day. It was the beginning of 2019 and the end of 2018 when Smash Brothers was released. I can't remember if this was after or before its release, when they revealed the very first DLC for Smash Ultimate. Excuse me. The very first DLC was Joker from Persona 5. It was this one guy in a trench coat. I can draw him now while I talk. And it was this one anime man. I'd never heard of him before. I had heard of Persona before. But obviously this was the big talk that everyone was talking about because it was the new DLC character for Smash that it was the first DLC character that has been in Smash Brothers for ages, since 2014. Everyone was talking about it, the brand new Smash Brothers character. It's this one anime boy, and I had never heard of him before. I had heard of the Persona series. By that I mean I'd heard of it one time, and it was a guy. It was actually what I mentioned before about the anime in minute series. Gigguk, he there's this like 2 minute, there was this 2 second joke where a girl says, "Was that a motherfucking Persona reference?" And that's the only time I had heard of Persona before this announcement. So at the very start when I saw him, I was not excited at all because I didn't know who the character was. I just thought he looked cool and everything. Then I started to look at his design more, and I looked at more trailers of people reacting to it, of reacting to the reveal, and I kind of got pulled into the design of the character, because the more I looked at it and the more I heard the voices and stuff in the background, I just thought it was exactly what I was looking for, because I felt like doing human anatomy, it was definitely something I wanted to get down. Like I said, it was something I was still trying to master. And I realized that he was such a lanky character, and he was so skinny, and I felt like drawing something like that, drawing someone who was so, like, he was such a skinny boy. I felt like drawing that and not making it look weird was such a hard thing to get right. And the fact that he was exactly what I was looking for. He was tall, he was stylish. He was so stylish because he had this big black trench coat, and he had like this mysterious mask on. He didn't really talk much, and everything about it just sort of made me fall in love. It was just the charm of the way of the style that he was in. Everything about it was just calling to me, and I had then looked up a bunch of stuff about the game Persona 5. The main thing that I saw after seeing all these, all the this gameplay and stuff, one was John Awesome, who's a YouTuber who, if you ever looked up Persona 5 gameplay footage, you will have heard of him, because he is the most popular gameplay walkthrough, or what's the one I'm looking for? Playthrough of Persona 5. The most popular one is probably by John Awesome. He does a fantastic job by his channel. It was really great. It was really freaking cool to see that. to watch that, because all the cutscenes I saw of Persona 5 before I owned the game was definitely from his channel. And I was such a big fan of it, especially because of his voice. God, he had one sexy voice. But yeah, so that was a big thing that I saw. I was watching John Awesome, and then the other thing was he also uploaded the intros. I think he did the ones for 5 and 4, but not for 3. But there are 3 spin-off games. So for Persona 3, 4, and 5, which are the dancing games, and there's an intro, like an anime opening, for all of them, and I became addicted to them. The first one was the Persona 5 one, because I had no idea what Persona 3 or 4 was at the time. So I wasn't really interested in the characters or anything like that. But it's basically exactly what I was looking for, because it was these lanky characters. I didn't know anything about them yet, but the designs of them, all of them, and the more that I looked into them, the more that I found out about them, the more I was in love with them, because it was exactly what I had been thinking of. It was so stylish. The entire game was just the style of it, the design of the characters was just, everything was just so goddamn perfect, and just the music as well, everything just came together so well. It was one big masterpiece in my eyes. And the reason why the intros to the dancing spin-off games was so important was because it was these characters that I loved so much, the design so much, and it was in such complex and such like dynamic poses. All the poses in those intros was just everything that I've always wanted to see, and it was like I just became so obsessed with trying to redraw all the poses I'd seen and all those characters from those games. Then I realized that some of the voice actors were in the Overwatch. It was in Overwatch as well, and that's how I became kind of obsessed with voice acting as well on one stage. And on topic with that, sorry, because I spent so much time online and so much time in Overwatch and so much time in Team Fortress 2, over the course of me spending so much time in those games, I spoke to a lot of people through the mic, and surprising enough to me, a lot of people would compliment me on my voice, which I don't want to sound like a cocky jackass, but it was kind of true. There was a point in time where I had so many people saying that to me, and I kind of got overwhelmed, because as you might imagine, I mean, know already, in real life I can be I can be really fucking awkward. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm an awkward person. And I would have to be especially awkward to openly admit that to people. But yes, and getting praise like that online of people, me just simply having to talk about something and someone telling me how my voice is attractive, was mostly people online who had never heard an Australian accent before, or if they did, they had, every time they do hear it, they're like, man, it's really an attractive accent. It was sort of like, kind of got to my head a bit, and that's probably one of the main reasons why I spent a lot of time online in my youth, is because I was just addicted to the attention, even though it was just people behind a screen. They didn't know what I looked like, and I kind of got addicted to that. Anyway, so Persona, the characters, the story and everything is not the main reason why I got into the game. They are great, they are superb, they are perfect. It did take me a very, very long time to actually finish the story of Persona. By then I mean watching someone else play through it. I did watch all the cutscenes. It was all in a very jagged order. It was just all the ones that stood out to me and everything. I got to really know the characters really well. That's when I figured out that Futaba was the best girl. The very first time I saw Futaba's model, I do remember it. It was like a cross between the Inkling from Splatoon and Futaba, because everyone who has seen those two characters will know that they do look very, very similar. And it was a cross drawing of them, basically. and I thought it was just someone drawing the Inkling girl, because I hadn't recognized that character because of Smash Brothers at that point, because she was one of the very first newcomers in the first trailers. I thought it was just someone redrawing her as a attractive, like a female anime person, but it was actually them drawing it as Futaba. And I do felt like I was like, man, I don't want to start being attracted to these squids, man. That's not something I want to do. But when I realized it was Futaba, I was like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a girl. It's okay. So yeah, and I'd always thought Futaba was the cutest of the waifus in Persona 5. That's when I became obsessed with her. And I would draw Joker and Futaba a lot. After I became accustomed to Persona 5, I basically became obsessed with it, as any of my friends, real life or online, would know. There was just this sudden sudden point in time where I very much became obsessed with the game Persona 5. And then there was a point in my life where I would then for a while during this period, I also did come into the game VR chat, and then for out of nowhere, my dad had got a VR headset for us to use. It was for him to use and for me to use if I wanted to, and I did get to use it a couple of times. And in this period, I met some people in VR chat. And I met this one person who shall not be named at this time, but she had introduced me to the game Persona 4, which I knew was a game. And then I had to, I was really into it. She showed me a lot of the animation, which is, the Persona 5 anime that was a thing. And I did look at a lot of that stuff. And then in turn, that also got me into Persona 3. And and then when I found out about them, and I found out about how they were a lot like Persona 5. Well, obviously they are. They're from the same universe and everything. They are in the same art style. It's just that the Persona 3 and 4 games, the character designs are a lot more chibi-like. Well, by that I mean the character models are. They're a lot cuter looking, but the design of the actual characters, in the animations, they do look like, humanoid. They do look like as anime you'd expect it to look like. And then I got really into that. I got really into the characters from that game, and that's how the main reason why I got into the Persona series at all, like I said, into most series that I got into, was because of the art style. So I feel like it's trying to be like an art piece. I've said this about a lot of things before. For some reason, every time I talk about this subject, the main thing that comes to my mind is the movie Onward. This is a very, very off topic now that I say it out loud, but there are so many movies and so many games or genres of things, or not genres, just anything, or even there is one song that I can think of as well that does this, where they have an idea in mind, a very specific idea in mind, before they come up with the moral of the story. I feel like, unless they do come up with the moral of the story first, and then there's another team behind it which makes it into an art piece. It's a very, very difficult thing to explain, but the reason why I can't bring up the movie Onward is because it's kind of very random. The reason why I keep second guessing myself whenever I bring it up is because Onward, by itself, on its own, Onward is a very mediocre movie. It's a very random movie for me to bring up, but the art style of Onward, the entire aesthetic of the movie Onward, I don't know why every time I looked at it, I was very enthralled by it. I was very intrigued by it. And I felt like getting into it, but as soon as I started watching it on Netflix, it was very, very boring. But the entire aesthetic, the entire fact that it's just magic being, kind of naturally being intermingled with modern society as the story, like the very start of that, I thought that was really fascinating. And the way that everything looks is completely artistically great. It's beautiful. I think the way that the movie looks, the way that the movie feels is beautiful. The story is really mediocre. The cast, I really don't like Tom Holland's voice. Not gonna lie, I'm sorry. That's kind of mean to say. I love Tom Holland as an actor. I love Tom Holland as everything. It's just that in that one movie, he can't decide if he's trying to be an English person or an American person. So his voice kind of sounds really weird during that movie. But anyway, so yeah, it's I really like that movie. So there are a lot of things like that where I feel like, the art team really has something going for it, and they really want to stick it down. They really want it to stick and stuff. It's so hard of what I'm trying to explain here, but that movie as an art piece, so I don't know. It's so hard for me to try and explain what it is I'm trying to explain. It is really good, but yeah, freaking. I always get off topic whenever I talk about these things. I came into here wanting to talk about how I got into art, and again, I knew that I was going to branch into other things. So that's the point of this. I always like to speak my mind. This is the entire reason why I got into drawing. I feel like at all was because I can express everything that's inside my head through drawing. Because trying to do it into words, it just turns into something like this. But it's getting so dark in my room right now because I did this during the Arvo, during the afternoon, just before it was going to go to dark time. And it's 7:27, which is the exact time of day where the sun will drop. Yes, indeedy. So, yeah, so like I said, the Persona series, when I got into it, I was very enticed, very very drawn in by the style of everything. It has so much style to it. I really wanted to get into animating. I've never really tried it as much as I've wanted to recently, or like at all. But the fact, like, though, looking at really smooth animation in the style of the characters from Persona is really cool, which is why I was so into all of those really clean and complex poses that the Persona characters are in the openings for the dancing games. It's really cool, in my opinion. Like, that's it's so freaking cool how they are able to do that, and how there are people in this world who have dedicated so much of their life and everything to just be able to be at that level, and I want to hopefully do that one day. And another thing that has really gotten me inspired is, well, especially recently, but as even a lot when it came out, is the Vivziepop. She's a YouTuber and a creator, and she has created the Hazbin Hotel pilot episode and the Hell of a Boss stuff as well. So if you haven't heard of any of those, then do you even watch YouTube? No. A lot of people aren't kind of put off by it because it kind of gives off like a fairy vibe. I don't know how else I can really put it. Well, the reason why I say that is because I can draw the main attraction to the Hazbin Hotel pilot, which is Alastor. It's because he's got some wolf ears on him, which is kind of off-putting. But anyway, so Hazbin Hotel is such an inspiration because, again, the reason why I'm so drawn into the reason why I love that so much is because of the art style, is because of how great it is. You can clearly see what style the artist is going for, if I want to draw Alistair, I really shouldn't start with the hair like this, should I? I should start with his big old grin and his eyes, because that's usually how I start with drawing, is the eyes, even though you should really do the head first. Anyway, yeah, if you don't know, Hazbin Hotel, and VivziePop, and I think Ashley is her name, is the other like core animator / artist of the VivziePop frickin' series, or frickin' art style. They use the wild art style, I think is what it is, where you'll see it right now. I hope I can recreate it, because I have drawn like, again, if I am ever into anything that is artistically like good in any way, I always try and recreate or look at a bunch of references of how they've drawn their specific character, and I'll try and recreate it as best I can. So I have drawn Alistair in the past a couple of times. I hope I can get it down, but yeah, they basically, she's mastered the wild style of drawing, and her own style is really, really, really impressive. It's very cartoony, but it's so cool. It's so cool, and she's done exactly what I have always wanted to do. She has set her own style, she's designed her own characters, and she has created art out of it. And it's just like the Persona series, because the Persona series it's all like the red, it's from the Persona series. Persona 5 is like, red is like the main color of that series. It's such a big art piece. So I'm saying a game can just be an art piece by itself, because the end, like every single background, every single element is so stylish in Persona 5. Everything's so great, and it's all very well contrasted with the color red. And it's the same with Persona 3. The color for that game is blue, and for Persona 4 it's yellow. And every single piece of artwork and the posters and everything, it always is just so well contrasted with the color that the game is portrayed as. And like, again, the reason why I say this is because frickin' the entire plot of Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, they both take place in hell, and the whole aesthetic, I keep rocking my table and it's kind of putting me off a bit, but the aesthetic of it is all red as well, and it's like red and pink, and it's really cool. Like the way that she's put the world together, the way that she's designed all the characters. She got all the voice actors for it. She's got Erica Lindbeck for Luna for Hell of a Boss, and she also played Millie in the pilot episode, which a lot of people are saying Millie's voice is better in the pilot episode than how enthusiastic it is, which I kind of disagree with. I feel like I like the newer voice better for the newer episodes. Anyway, so I think that where was I going with this? Yeah, I think it's really cool how they got Erica, because the main reason why is because she's one of my favorite voice actresses of all time. Again, because she voices my waifu for Laifu. Oh my god, Dory. She voices Futaba. She's great. And she also voices a girl that I forget the name of from Anohana, which is a small anime series that you can watch. It's basically like a movie, just cut into episodes. You can watch it on Netflix, called Anohana, the flower we saw yesterday, something like that. But that is really, she's such a great voice actress. But I can go into voice actors now, because I really like a lot of voice actors. One of them would have been definitely what's his name, Matt Mercer. He's really good. The only reason why I'll like any of these actors is because I know them a lot of stuff. And my number one favorite voice actor, any of my friends will know, is definitely got to be Yuri Lowenthal, because he is fucking everywhere. I can't seem to escape him. He is in everything that I see. And if you watched cartoons at all as a kid, you would have heard his voice because he plays Ben 10. He plays Spider-Man. He's probably the best Spider-Man voice you'll ever hear. He doesn't play the young Ben 10. That is played by another voice actress that I can't remember the name of. But she plays a lot of people as well. She plays Raven. She plays Raven from the Teen Titans. She plays one of the Powerpuff Girls. And she plays a lot of other characters as well. But yeah, there are so many voice actors and actresses that you'll never really realize voices someone like multiple people that you've heard before. Hang on, I gotta go turn my light on. I'll be right back. It's just getting very dark in here. There we go. I wonder if I can draw Alistair in like a humanoid way, because he's, again, in the show is very stylized, and she definitely has her own style that she does, which is like, it's like the wild one. I think that's what it's called. I forget. I don't know. But it's like everything is very sharp looking. Another show that has such a great animation style, or just illustration style, is what's it called? Total Drama Island. That's such a classic show, and the animation style in that show is so unique, and it's so noticeable, recognizable. That's what I'm looking for, and it's so wild and so so awesome. Oh man, that was such a great show. If you haven't seen, by the way, there's another great project that's been worked on, and I just looked at recently. There's this group of people who are recreating. They're trying to make their own, because I think they've stopped, like the official crew of the Total Drama series have stopped making the show. I'm pretty certain at this point that they have, and so a group of fans have all come together, and because the animation style is pretty simple, as long as you're pretty decent at animating, you can recreate it pretty simply, I guess. A group of people they've got some voice actors together, people doing impressions of the characters from the show, and I've made Alistair's head way too big compared to his body right now. I can fix that. And they're trying to make a new series of Total Drama, which is pretty interesting, pretty intriguing in my opinion. I'll say there's something very off-putting about this Alistair head. He was just giggling. Alright, cool. Okay. Like the Chris McLean impressionist that they got is really good. They did a quick showcase showing all the impressionists and actresses and actors who were portraying the characters in the show, and they're all really talented, really amazing people, and I freaking love how they're recreating the Total Drama series. They're doing their own series for it, and it's really well done in my opinion. If you haven't seen that and you're a fan of the show, I recommend looking it up. I think it's called Total Drama Reunited. That's the one, and it's really cool. And I was wondering when I first heard the voice, when I first saw, because I didn't hear about it before I started watching it. I hadn't heard anything about the show, about this team of people who were trying to recreate the show. And when I first saw it, I did realize by the animation that it was fan made, and I wanted to hear what Chris McLean's voice was going to sound like, if they were going to get the actual voice actors or if they were going to get an impressionist, which they did do. And when I first heard it, I thought it was the original voice actor at first. And I quickly realized after listening to it for a bit, I had to listen very carefully, that it was an impressionist, but he was really good. He's like, "Welcome to the island." We find out campers here. We're gonna find out which one gets a marshmallow. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But Chris McLean's voice is so hard to get right, but the guy does it pretty well. What is Alistair's staff again? It's a microphone, isn't it? Well, I heard you just clearly, just fine. I've always wanted to do voice acting, but I've never really... You gotta be able to do a lot of stuff. Like, the best way, apparently, to do it is to make a lot of samples, which obviously that is probably the best way. And then to put them up on the internet for people to see. And I think if you get good enough, you get like an agent and stuff. And then, but that's like way into the future. You gotta get really good at voice acting if you want to do it as a career. It's the same kind of for drawing. Well, it's definitely the same for drawing. I always do this. I always just go back to other drawings and try and finish them up. Anyway, what was I talking about? Here we go. Hey, Alistair. Stay tuned. I was talking about the Persona series. So if I want to talk about my if I want to keep going on about my journey with drawing, not much else has happened since then. I really like the Fire Emblem. Again, a lot of what I do and what I'm into is all influenced by the artistic, the artistry and the style of what something looks like is what influences me to do or get into what I get into or what I do. So the number one reason why when I play Smash Brothers, because that's literally one of my favorite games, probably my favorite game right now is Smash Brothers. The reason why I play all the Fire Emblem characters is because not because of the way that they play, even though the way they play is pretty cool. Is because of the style of them, and the way that they play is very stylish because they're all very skinny and very nimble, and I just really like. I gotta remember. Okay, so the way that his body looks is sort of like that kind of. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Anyway, and that's why I play. I only like Fire Emblem characters most of the time, and especially Joker. Of course, I'm gonna play Joker because the way he moves around, I just feel really cool while playing him. And he is a very overpowered character in that game as well, I gotta say. So of course, in fact, a lot of the time people regard him as the best character in Smash Ultimate is Joker, when it comes to professional tier lists anyway. Because he's got the potential kill power of Ganondorf and he has the frame data of Sheik. Therefore he is unkillable, unbeatable, as I must say. Which I'm very proud of. Very proud of you, Joker, for being this. I'm very proud that you broke the game better than Bayonetta ever did. I'm just stealing quotes that I've had other people say. Anyway. We have Alistair's shoes. Why am I giving... This is all from memory, by the way. So... And I'm drawing the shoes that I remember Joker having. Because I remember he has these... I spent a very long time... Because I got the... I'm really into collecting anime figures. Again, the main reason why is because of the way that they look, and I can really, especially the Figma figures, they're really high detail, they're very fucking expensive, but for a good reason, because they're high detailed and you can articulate them at the same time. Damn, this is a pretty sexy Alistair, I gotta say. His hand's a bit weird though, and his arm I think is a bit disproportionate. I always just rush with the hands. But if I want to make them more detailed, I will. A lot of the time I can't be arsed because it takes too long and these are all just really, really rough things. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, the shoes. I got the Figma for Joker. I got the Figma for a lot of the Persona characters because again, I'm obsessed with the design of all the characters. Just being able to have a 3D posable model of the characters that you love, the designs that you love, is really, really good. Like, it really inspires me because it's just being able to understand things like that, because doing the skinny characters, which is why I was so intrigued by the Persona characters, because they're so skinny, and the design, again, I keep basically repeating myself, freaking The reason why I've spent so much money on the Figma figures is because I'm able to just look at them any way I can, any way I want to, and they just look really cool, and I can. And it's this, I don't really like the expression that Alistair is giving right now. Hold on. But I don't know how to change it. I don't know how to make it better. I could look at a picture of Alistair right now and stream as a reference. He's a bit of a lunatic, but he isn't like this sinister. He looks like he has like a goofy smile and not like a sinister smile. Hang on, let me look it up right now. On Google Images. I guess there's probably an images page. Yeah, there's an images page here. And let me look up Alistair. Oops. I meant to click enter. Enter. Alistair, the radio demon. Here we go. Maybe. I already remember from this screen cap what he's saying. Maybe. You think I'm some fucking clown? Yeah, there we go. He has like a very sinister looking smile. God, I love the design. Again, Hazbin Hotel. God, the design team. The artist VivziePop who designed all the characters and created the entire thing is really talented, and I freaking love everything about that. I've always wanted to meet their team. I mean, I don't think I have any chance on that, but one day I want to be able to, because I've had my fair share of meeting famous people. By that I mean I'd met Max Mofo. I'm never gonna let that one live that one down. I met him in a meetup, and I was very, very small, but I still met him, and I hate my 2-second cameo in the video that he did of the meetup, because I look so young, because I guess it's because I was, but still, I look so young and chubby. God, I feel like I'm putting this character to shame now that I've actually saw a quick preview of the actual character design. What else could I draw? I could, because this is in the style of Hazbin. I could do one in like a dramatic anime style. Should I actually try and like do an actual detailed drawing of someone? If I were, who would it be? I always like to draw Mercy because I love the way that she's designed. So I started drawing her at the start, and the reason why I keep thinking of her as well is because I have a little Lego minifigure of her sitting on my desk right here, which is not that good. Well, it's great. Everything about it's great, but for some reason the printing of her skin tone. Well, I know the reason why. The printing of her skin tone is really, really bad. Because it's on a black head, and they tried to print the skin color, or the nougat color as they call it, because I don't want to be racist, but I like to call it the skin flesh color, onto a black head, and that just does not come out very well. It just looks like a very dark grey sort of skin tone, and it doesn't look very good on Mercy, but besides that, it's a very cool looking figurine, and I was really into the charm of Lego when I was a kid, which is why I asked my parents to buy so much of it. Was that always there? Or did that just get there? Hang on, there we go. Again, because of the charm and the artistic creativity that came out of the Lego hobby. That's why I got into it so much, and I feel very, very sorry. I'm very sorry for my parents for getting into that. I very hope that my children do not get into Lego. The main reason why is because it's very expensive nowadays, and I'm realizing if I'm going to draw her, well, I tried to do the eraser. If I'm going to draw her hair up here, her chin will be much closer. Here we go. We just remember, I will draw Mercy in a cool pose, I think. One better than her just staring at the screen, but I gotta get her head down. Also, another character I really like drawing, which I haven't actually drawn a very good, big, detailed version of her, is Corrin from Fire Emblem, which again I would have never known existed if it weren't for Smash Brothers. So Smash Brothers is a really good commitment, or what's the word I'm looking for? Very good thing that has inspired me to become an artist, or a thing that has what am I looking for? There's a word I'm looking for. Ignited. It's introduced me to a lot of genres and a lot of pieces of media and a lot of games and a lot of characters and a lot of styles that I wouldn't have realized otherwise. But yes, it's still one of my favorite games and a very satisfying game to play, especially if you're good at it, which I am not the best, but I am definitely not the worst. I went to a local tournament, my very first local tournament, and that's where I met Little Z, which was so much fun because Little Z is pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. He's a really cool guy in real life. And I was kind of freaking out a bit because, again, I'm very awkward in real life. And seeing someone like that, seeing a YouTuber who millions of people have seen, and he's played against Zero as well. I mentioned that to him, like, oh my god, you played against Zero. And my other friend was there, who's not very much into Smash as I am. He was kind of felt like he was thinking like I was exaggerating a bit because, you know, this is just another guy, and this Little Z was saying that as well. I was like, it's just another guy, like every other person. But to me, it was really cool because, like, so many people had seen Little Z before on videos and stuff, and I was meeting him in person. Me. Wow. Anyway, let's see if I can do a face here of Mercy. I always did the eyes too big. If you're gonna do a face, even an anime face, you want to make the eyes small, a lot small. That's the one thing I did. I always struggled doing face shapes as well. But especially if you want to do like a quick face, like there's the up close face, and then there's a quick face, a face that you want to do quickly, a face of a person who is standing in the background, basically, or standing in the foreground. You'll want the eyes to you will want them to be on this side of the face, and you will want them to be small as well. So, like, let's say I'm drawing, I did this with Link, I just drew Link just a second ago by memory, or this morning, and then you want the eyes to be over here, and you want them to be small. Then you want the nose to either be just a shadow, nothing at all, or just a very simple line. You want the mouth to be at the very bottom over here, and that is how you do a character. If you want them to be more expressive, you want the mouth to be smiling, or you want the mouth to be sad. A lot of the time, anime will have mouths with a line, well, sorry, not with a line, but with an eraser mark through it. The reason why they do that is because they want it to look as minimalistic as possible. Less is more, and in order to make a line look less than thin, you literally just have to get rid of it, which is why they do that. So, because on the outside, that is when the mouth opens up, you see. So, and then, like, on the outside of so we have a mouth here. I'm going into art. This is what I think anyway. I've never actually taken art classes, but if we go into a mouth, we say this is the mouth, this is the tongue, and then right here, this is the mouth. So this is the outer mouth, and then this is the inner mouth. As we can see, the outer mouth is a lot more wider than the inner mouth. So if the mouth was closed like this, then the outer mouth is still kind of open, and then the inner mouth is definitely 100% closed. So reason why this is why I think the anime mouths kind of look like this sometimes, where they have like the middle of it, you know, kind of split in half, is because you know that's definitely closed and the inner mouth is kind of open. I think that's why they do that. Anyway, back to Moisey. So you want to have something as well that people do, which I can't do often because I prefer drawing on traditional, on pen and paper or pencil and paper, specifically mechanical pencil. I really love these mechanical pencils. My mum got a bunch of them from Big W, and they're really cheap, but they work really, really well. And I've had them since high school, the exact same ones, because she bought me 100 of them, and they're still the same ones since high school, which is why. But all the erasers are fucked on them. Anyway, I much prefer doing traditional art because that's what I grew up with. That's what I'm most comfortable with. But if I want to do digital art, then I still do it, even though I feel like it's a lot less easy to control. The only reason why I say that is because the only time I've ever been able to draw digitally is with this laptop I have. I don't actually have a sketch pad, but a laptop is just on glass, basically on a glass screen, which is very very slippery. It doesn't feel as controlled as it does on paper. So I feel like I don't have as much control over it. And as you can see, this is why I always mess up whenever I try and do my eye lines, is because that is on such this line right here is on such an angle, and I always think it's straight, but I guess the face is not very straight. It's definitely crooked. This is probably why my faces always look terrible. Let me get rid of these guidelines real quick. I guess I should have done this before I started drawing the hair. So it would be right back here. I guess I could copy the eye and then paste it on the other side, even though you're not really going to see it because the hair's in the way. And again, this is just generic anime face. I'm not really drawing Mercy right now, am I? Like, every character does have their own likeness in their own way. And if you want to make a character, if you want to draw the character and you want someone to look at the character and say that, hey, that is that character, that is this character, you've got to get down their essential likeness to them. You've got to get down to things that make them look like the character. The main one, I guess, is the silhouette. But a lot of the time, especially if you're drawing your own style, I mean, definitely if you're drawing it in your own style, the silhouette is not going to look the same. But you got to get all the key features of that character down. So that's how you can get the likeness down. These are all like normal things that like everyone, I guess, would know who are drawing. But you know, just take it from me to you, from me as the drawer, to you as the audience. These are the experiences that I've had. Again, I've never actually taken drawing classes before. I never ever, except for the ones in the off chance that I was in one in primary school. I was in one for a very, very brief time in high school, but it was in my first year. I really didn't do much in that class because the teacher wasn't very good. But besides that, I really, really wanted to do art classes because I knew I'd be great at them and I knew I'd enjoy them a lot. The most out of every class, I would enjoy that class the most. But I never really got the chance to do it. And the closest thing that I've done right now, which I did recently, I joined a Discord, literally like 2 days ago. I joined an art Discord, specifically dedicated to artists. And I really just want to be in a call with someone. I hopefully, my dream is do this full time, to just do artistry or do some sort of project so people can see my artistic skills are capable of, because I feel like I can get somewhere with this. I just like again, the reason why Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Bus is so inspirational to me is because that's exactly what I feel like something I can do is. that doesn't make us a lot of sense. I can't really talk. That was so many words. But that's something that, like, it's exactly what I was looking for. Like, it's just so inspirational that someone can do that. I have not gotten that much into animating, but that's because all I can use for an animation thing is Krita. I haven't found. I need to do courses and stuff or something to animate. I feel like if I actually do want to do animation and stuff, because I don't know. I don't know where to start with animating. Krita. I did do a few animations in Krita. I tried, but I feel like they weren't. I don't know. I gotta get comfortable with it, and I feel like there's a big step is getting comfortable with animating, and I'm definitely not comfortable with it at this point in stage because I got so frustrated at using Krita because there were so many things that I had to do, and the video was not very straightforward. It's just, I feel like I gotta get more used to it, and I think I'm just too scared to try and get into that whole thing of animating, because sometimes just drawing one thing can get very exhausting, and I know animating is a hell of a lot worse than just drawing things, but you gotta do like a storyboard first and everything. If you actually want to create a story, you gotta do the keyframes first and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff you could do with animating stuff, or I could just do something very simple, which I guess would be the first step, but who knows what the future holds. But yeah, I really love just whenever there's a character that I really love the design of, I will definitely try my hardest to try and get down all the key things that make them so memorable. Another one is Ryu. He is such an iconic character in gaming history. Of course, he's in Smash Brothers. Of course, I know about him because of Smash Brothers, but I did know about him before Smash. But his character design is so simple, yet so memorable. And he is the definition of a fighting character. He's definitely more defiable than Goku, because Goku, again, he originated from an anime and not a game. So, Ryu is just the most generic anime fighting person you can ever think of, because if you look at his motive is literally just becoming the best fighter to ever be. It's just to defeat everything in his path, and to just become the best fighter he can possibly become. That's his motivation. Those are his morals. So like, and I just love the design and the entire aspect of Ryu, because his name is so simple. Everything about him is so simple. He's just the most iconic, generic anime, like, fighting character, gaming icons that you can think of, that you can ever remember. Think of a fighting character, he's always there. It's just Ryu. And I love his design. I'm trying to draw him right now from what I can remember. His shirt shouldn't be so formal. Hang on. It should be like this, like showing off so much of his like pecs and everything. He's a really big muscular man. There's this other YouTuber who I watch. I cannot remember his name, but I'm sure when I describe it, you will probably know of him if you have seen his videos before. He's a guy who makes clay sculptures, who is really cool, and I really like everything that he does. Again, I really wish I could remember his name, but he did a clay sculpture of Ryu once, and that was really cool, because I really like Ryu's design. I really like everything about Ryu. Ryu, again, was he was the thing that got me into drawing muscular characters, but I'll get into that in a second. Anyway, this guy on YouTube, he is really, really cool. He's really talented, but he makes these clay sculptures and figurines of popular people and just popular characters. Excuse me. And before he does any sculpting, he always shows you a sketch of the character that he does first. And that's always like a masterpiece as well. Just the sketch that he does is a masterpiece. And he's really, really good at what he does. And the sculpting is immaculate. Like, you can tell he's been doing it for years to try and like perfect it, because it's so good, the end result. And watching him do it is just everything that I've wanted to do, is just perfect the way that people perceive something. Like, people will take your eyes for granted. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say, but you just take one quick glance at something, but I want to completely understand that one thing and the anatomy and the way that that thing is put together. And sculpting is one of the best ways you can do that, because you're everything that you look at on that person, you are completely putting together as a malleable thing, you know. It's really hard to explain, but like, it's just the fact, just doing that is really, like, recreating something you see is really fascinating to me, which is why I will, like, recreating characters is something I always do. If I ever see a character, I always look at references and try and draw them in different poses, try and just, you know, get down what it is that is so, the likeness of them is so memorable, and try and recreate that. Like, things that are just easy to consume. The reason why, like, why is that easy to consume? Why does everyone like this person as much as they do? And I just try and get that down, you know, and try and understand what everyone wants to understand. And a lot of how I learned human anatomy was a lot of things to do with a channel called Draw with Jazza. He's great. Again, I think I talked about him a second ago. He was an Australian YouTuber. He taught me a lot of how to draw a lot of things. There was a video of him talking about the female body, which was very useful. Again, he's from Australia, and I was like, I can relate to this guy. I'm an Aussie trying to draw shit. A lot of characters that have robes, whenever I have to draw robes, they'll always look a little bit like the Assassin's Creed characters, because again, I always drew Assassin's Creed characters a lot because I was really into that game when I was smaller. So a lot of the time, if I'm drawing robes like that, like this right here, there's a lot. I know it's just like robes that anyone would have, but it'll always recall back to how many robes and crap and like straps and stuff I drew from the Assassin's Creed characters. I always remember that hands, I always drew them too small, so I always remember I need to draw them bigger. Again, the fact that I was so invested in drawing Persona characters, because I was so into that series after I found out what it was, and after I found out the art style, it was kind of bad for me as an artist, because I quickly realized, I didn't quickly realize, I realized over time that the characters are definitely not humanoid. Well, they are definitely shaped like humans, but the entire anatomy of the Persona characters are all really, really lanky, and they're all really, really skinny. And you'll especially see it in the if you like stand the Figmas upright, that the anatomy of all of those characters is all way off. It's way different to what you would what a human being is. So I'm trying to say here, so they're all really skinny characters, and their legs are way too long. Their arms and forearms are way too long compared to a natural human. But I really like it. I really like the aesthetic of that. So sorry. I kept drawing them, but as soon as I found out that a lot of the stuff that I drew the arms and the legs way too long, and a lot of people would point it out to me, and I'm like, oh, sure, this is what that's supposed to look like, but I got it hardwired into my brain that that is right, because of the Persona series, which was kind of not good for me. There was something that made me draw a lot of muscular people, like, so I try to go into that genre a lot as well. I try to broaden everything, my horizons, after I found out that the Persona series is not everything about art. Even though I really liked everything about it, I had to broaden my horizons, like I said, and there are a lot of different things that made me draw that, like, again, Ryu, he was definitely one of the bigger inspirations on how to draw muscular people. The female body was a lot of the Overwatch characters again. I remember drawing a lot of Mercy and a lot of Diva, and that is and the main reasons how I got to perfecting the female anatomy, because before then my females just looked like males but with big hips and big bums, and that is not accurate, as females do have very slimmer bodies. They have, well, most of them do. They have very, very small shoulders compared to men. Drawing boobs, of course, is a big subject. But there was a very, very helpful point in my life where I took like 2 years. Again, this was unwillingly. At 2 years of my education, I had these like 4 times every week. I did this human biology class, which was very fascinating. A lot of people didn't like it because they thought it was boring, but I liked it. But that's why I was put into it again. I was put into classes because I didn't choose my classes. I was too late on choosing my classes. They put me into ones that no one else wanted to be put into. So I did a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in this human biology class, and will never forget, because I did the work there so many years. We kind of ran out of stuff that we were taught. So a lot of it was repeated after a year. And I do remember this one video of this one woman talking about human anatomy for a girl, which was very, very helpful for me as an artist. Because the one thing I'll always never forget is that she taught me that a boob is a very, very mature stream that I have to talk about here. We'll just pretend that this is the abdomen. Right here. So it's basically like a big drop that starts here, right under the armpits. Just imagine you're drawing a bra, basically. And then you'll have another thing here, and it'll go all the way up to here. Yeah, I should do this in a different, I should do this in a different color. But like what she said is it's like a drop that comes down. Here we go. It comes down here, and it goes up to the armpit. Why was that so freaking? It's because my hand was. Why is this being so annoyingly stupid? I don't understand why it's being so shaky, but anyway, you get it. So it comes down to the armpit, comes around like that, and it comes up to like the middle of the chest here. And I'll never forget the words she said. It's a big drop, and then it starts in the armpit, and that's all I remember from that day. And every single time I've drawn boobs, even with clothing on, you do it like, well, especially, well, of course with clothing on, otherwise this would be taken off of YouTube. You do it like that, and like boobs will never be touching each other. It's very, very, very unnatural for boobs to be touching each other unless they are big. You always have a gap in the middle, just like that. But if you just want to draw, you'll always want to draw that first, even if they're not going to be shown, because a lot of the time, especially if you're drawing clothes, you will want to cover them up, or you'll just want to draw the silhouette of the shape of them, and then like one line to represent the other one. And well, the best way to get results of them looking good is by using shading. And these do not look good right now because it looks like, yeah. As you can see, I have this little abdomen thing right here, and the way that this entire body is oriented, it looks like that it's facing this way. So those two that I just had drawn were not very accurate. In fact, this one is, so it should go right about here, and this one should be around here. What the hell? Nathan Morris, I guess I can reply to him. He said, "What are you doing right now?" I will reply. Sorry about that. Always remember that the heads are a lot more rounded. A lot of the time to get more feminine sides. This is just facts that I've been hearing, and it does work. It's that if you want to make things more feminine, you want to make the head more rounded. Especially the cheeks. That just makes them more look. It either makes you look younger or more feminine. Feminine. And then if you wanted to make a male head, you would make it a lot more narrow, and you would make the cheeks a lot more defined. And if you want to make them look older, you would definitely you would define a lot of the muscles and bones as well. Anyway, God, I feel like I'm a teacher right now. Again, I've been learning all these things just by looking at other things. Like literally everything that I know a lot of it was people me hearing what people say while they're drawing, especially Jazza. George Jazza is like a big inspiration because he explains a lot of what he says while he's doing it, and that just sticks into my brain. And then a lot of it is me just seeing patterns and seeing, especially with the anime, because anime is really good for expressions and stuff. What every single anime creator, they will all have this. There'll always be this one thing that they all slightly do, even the styles are different. They'll all do slightly the same just to make expressions. To give them expression. Like, for example, if someone was to be disgusted or shocked in an anime, they would have the pupils be very small. And then if they wanted to be like disgusted or like shocked, they'd give them bags under their eyes as well for some reason. And like this, it'd be like, what the hell? Kinda. And then the mouth would look a lot like that, like I did before. And then the mouth as well, if you were to do someone who's shocked, we would want the mouth to be all the way down as close to the bottom of the face as you can. So it would be all the way down here. It would be like, what? There you go. Want to go for a drive? I might have to go soon if someone is asking me that. Alright, yeah, I'll probably end up this stream soon, as I apparently have people asking me if I want to do stuff with them, so my mates, and I've made this female body a bit too much bigger than I should. The thighs should be bigger, I guess. Alright, yeah. someone's going to pick me up right now, so I should stop streaming. Thank you guys for watching. If you did watch, I have 0 concurrent viewers, but thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.